ฮัลโหลเทสครับก็ต้องขอกล่าวสวัสดีท่านผู้มาเข้าร่วมทุกท่านนะครับผมแล้วก็เดี๋ยวเราจะขอพูดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะครับso good afternoon all attendees of the meeting today and welcome to our panel talk under the topic of marriage equality in Thailand and experience from Taiwan. Let me introduce myself. My name is Napat. I'm currently a third year student in international relations, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. Okay, and firstly, I want to notify you that this talk will be held in English, mostly in English, because there is a guest, foreign guest, Taiwanese guests, and also Taiwanese and many other nationality attendees. And I think for Thai attendees here, everyone can speak English or even listening in English. So yeah, this is why I will talk in English mostly. But if you want me to translate some phrases or technical terms, you can ask me. Okay, so why we have to talk about this topic? Let me provide the context of Thailand. In Thailand, Thai civil society has an attempt to issue marriage equality bill, or in Thai we call พระราชบัญญัติสมรสเท่าเทียมนะครับ which grants the basic rights to all married couples equally, regardless of being different sex couples or same-sex couples. But unfortunately, this bill cannot be realized because there is another bill proposed by the conservatives for many reasons and justifications, which is called the Civil Partnership Bill, or in Thai พระราชบัญญัติคู่ชีวิตนะครับ which doesn't provide the basic rights equally to the same-sex marriage bill. To illustrate, under the Civil Partnership Bill, if you are a married same-sex couple, you will not be granted the equal rights to married different sex couples. And this leads to the question of gender equality in Thailand and leads to the struggle for gender equality and gender justice in Thailand as well. Although the House of Representatives accept the proposal of marriage equality bill on 15th June this year, there will be many other legal procedures that have to be passed in order to implement this bill. So we can't be sure that this bill will be realized, and this is why we still have to struggle for it. By contrast, in Taiwan, Taiwan is the first Asian country that celebrates the legalization of the same-sex marriage in 24th May 2019, after the long journey of struggles, fights, and demonstrations against the conservatives and as well as the inactive government. So it can be seen that our journey, Thailand's and Taiwan's journey of struggle for gender equality, is almost the same, with an exception that Taiwan has achieved its goal 3 years ago. So this leads to the opportunity that we, Thai people and Taiwanese people, can share the experiences of the struggles for gender equality and justice. And this is the purpose of today's panel talk. Okay, and so yeah, we are grateful that our invited guests are present for today's talk. So let me introduce them one by one. The first guest is on the screen. Kun Joyce Teng. She is the deputy executive director of Taiwan Equality Campaign. Good afternoon, Kun Joyce. Okay, and next, in the leftist person, Kun Tunyawaj Kamolwongwat, the member of parliament and the member of Move Forward Party หรือพรรคอนาคตใหม่หรือพรรคก้าวไกลนะครับ Okay. Sorry for ครับผม Okay, and the last guest นะครับผมคุณดาดาชัยจิตนะครับHuman Rights Campaign Advisor of Manushya Foundation and the member of Thai สร้างไทย Party ครับผม Okay, so our three guests will discuss on the topic of marriage equality in Thailand. I will share the experience between the two countries. So I will start the discussion. Okay, so I want to ask each guest one by one, and I will start with Kun Joyce. Okay, I want to ask you that as a feminist activist, please share us your experience of fighting and movement for rights and gender equality in Taiwan.
Thank you for having me here today. And yes, I want to introduce some of my experience and also the experience of Taiwan Equality Campaign. So I prepared a little slides and to share with you and go with my introduction. Let me share those with you. Yes, can you see that? Okay. Okay. Before I begin my presentation, I would like briefly introduce my organization, Taiwan Equality Campaign. We was previously known as Marriage Equality Coalition Taiwan. It's a coalition formed by 5 different NGOs for aiming for marriage equality. And after same-sex marriage was legalized in Taiwan in 2019, Taiwan Equality Campaign became its own NGO. Through it, we continue advocating for LGBTI+ rights. As for me, I'm now the Deputy Executive Director of this organization. After graduating from law school, I worked for a legislator, and that's when I start learning the political skills to help social movement gain traction. And in 2017, I joined Marriage Equality Coalition Taiwan, and I've been working on LGBTI+ issue ever since. Now, in Taiwan Equality Campaign, I'm mainly in charge of policy research and advocacy. That's some introduction about me. And because the question is about how, as a feminist, we see the gender movement and also LGBTIQ+ movement, I want to bring a timeline with you that the movement is a process, very long and sometimes difficult process. So as you can see in Taiwan, after martial law was lifted, there's a lot of LGBT rights violation incidents in 2019, and also that those incidents motivate LGBTIQ+ community to start our movement and to fight back. Like in the 2019, there are lots of violations, like police were repeatedly raid the LGBTI+ business or place owned by gay men. Those things made our movement more active. And also in 2000s, the activists began to advocating for the legal change. Like in 2004, we can see Gender Equity Education Act was passed, and that act actually bring a lot of change to our society, because according to the law, every school need to teach at least 4 hours of gender equality education each semester, and that changed the next generation of Taiwanese. And the first same-sex marriage bill was proposed in 2006. The first proposed to amend the civil code was drafted in 2014. Though we do have those amendments, but because the parliamentary election in 2016, all the amendments had to be resubmitted. So NGO started working with legislature to draft a new version of these amendments. And also during that time, I started to working with lots of legislators and NGO activists and help with the process and start the whole journey of my experiences. And okay, in the following time, I will introduce a little bit about our journey from 2016 to 2019. In October 2016, a member of Taiwan's LGBT community, this is French professor Jacques Picou, a year after his partner's death. Here is his partner, who is a Taiwanese, and Professor Picou jumped to his death. They had been together for over 35 years, but because they couldn't get married in Taiwan, so Professor Picou was not able to make any medical decision for his partner at the last time, and also he cannot save their shared house. So Professor Picou, we believe that's why the tragedy, he lost his life eventually. And then this tragedy inspired public sympathy. So legislators and from different parties worked together to propose a bill and amendment to legalize same-sex marriage. And during that time, NGO, we do have lots of different press conference. Within 1 month, we had at least 10 different kind of press conference, like some conference held by LGBT organizations, and some are straight allies. And also there are press conference spoke by parents with LGBTIQ kids. Also, we can see scholars who stand out to show their support, and also during that time, within 1 month we had 3 big rallies, and I want to show you the picture that the biggest one is on 2016 December 10th, the International Human Rights Day. At that day, over 250,000 people gathered in front of presidential office building to show their support. And thanks to those efforts, the same-sex marriage bill amendment passed the parliamentary committee review at the end of 2016. However, due to the number of factors, our parliament didn't continue to debate on this amendment. So going to 2017, the constitutional agreed to hear the same-sex marriage case and issue interpretation on 748, which could declare that same-sex couple are equally protected under the Constitution and have the freedom to marry. The court grants our parliament 2 years to change the law, but the referendum launched by the anti-LGBT activists try very hard to prevent that. So we can see referendum in 2018. That's because at the end of 2017, our referendum act was modified to loosen the limitation on referendums proposed by private citizens. For the anti-LGBT movement, this was the perfect opportunity for them to launch referendum against us. So they launched 3 referendum proposals aiming to stop legalization of same-sex marriage and also the gender equity education in schools. So in 2018, we began the campaign against the referendum. We employed strategy to mobilize our community by like public education and media strategy, advertisement. You can see the picture is made by all of our like flyers or advertisement on bus, on taxi, and also we made lots of videos on YouTube, because through different channel we can touch different person. And also we got grassroots movement to see person, to communicate with them in person. And because it's an election, people need to vote. So during that time, we also had big rallies to motivate people to gather for this voting. But as you can see, or you already knew, that at the end of 2018, we lost the referendum and faced a significant backlash. But I think for us, we still had a really good lesson learned, because during that time we know better about Taiwan society through different researches, and also we know some political mobilization skills through the referendum campaign. Okay, we didn't hesitate or have any time to being regret for the referendum, because in 2019 we need the bill to be passed. So in 2019 we began another wave of lobbying in our parliament, and the government led by Su Zhenchang, our premier, and he proposed a separate marriage law for same-sex couples. And although that bill does not complete equal, but it would provide most of the same legal rights for same-sex couples, just like what heterosexual couples have. So that's the day. You can see the picture. That's the day we passed our parliament passed the bill, and it was running at the morning, but eventually we can see the sunlight in the afternoon when the law was finally being read and passed, and we can see the rainbow on the sky. So it was an amazing day that day. And for these journeys and experience, I want to share with you that we think there are 3 reasons why Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage. The first, because our civil society is very active, and our youth participation in politics are really attract the attention from the mainstream media. Like we think that's because in 2014, Taiwan's younger generation, they launched a movement against that KMT's policy toward China. So there was sunflower movement and launched by the younger generation. And we think that motivates lots of lots of younger generation to participate in politics. And also another reason is because of Taiwan's democracy. We got election in different level of government, and in Taiwan, actually, our voting rates are really higher than the other country in Asia, even the other country in the world. So I think that voting system, our democracy, actually made this society more and more open and diverse, and possible to accept new things or discuss new topic. And there's another reason, like I mentioned, Gender Equity Education Act was passed in 2004, and education, gender equality education in school actually changed the next generation, so they can accept issues or concepts of LGBTIQ very fast and very smooth. And during the past few years, actually we did several polling survey, and in 2017, before the referendum, we asked the public if you support same-sex marriage, and 72% of people aged 20 to 29, they did support marriage equality. And similar polling result in 2018, it turned to be 75% of support. And we can see the similar result in the following years. So we believe that the gender education changed the next generation greatly. And also, I want to share a little bit about what Taiwan experienced after Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage these years. And on the screen, you can see that's the two different pictures of two major cities in Taiwan. One is Taipei, another is Kaohsiung, a major city in southern Taiwan. And we both had a big scene on the street and painted in 6 different colors, rainbow. So I think that's the sign we can see after Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage. We did several Taiwan equality campaign. We do have annual polling survey every year to see if our society accept concept like concept about marriage equality. And actually in Taiwan, although we passed the same-sex marriage bill, we still have some unfinished marriage equality issues. Like under current law, same-sex couple are not able to co-adopt kids like heterosexual couple. And the government still only recognize same-sex marriage if both parties are citizens of a country legalize same-sex marriage or recognize same-sex marriage. So it means that if a Taiwanese want to get married someone from Thailand, they cannot legally get married in Taiwan. Another issue is about artificial reproduction rights. Like as a married lesbian in Taiwan, you cannot get IVF procedure done in Taiwan. So that's the remain gaps between heterosexual couple marriage and also same-sex marriage. So we've asked questions during our in our survey. We've asked people's attitude toward these 3 topics. We can see that for the past few years, the people's support for marriage equality gain each year slightly, and especially for the co-adoption rights, we can see the number increased to nearly 10%. So that's that's a sign that we think people will support full marriage equality in the future. And we will also ask question about like how would you feel if you see two person kissing on the street. We asked 3 different scenarios, like it's 1 man and 1 woman, or 2 women or 2 men. In 2000 and last year and this year, we can saw that people can accept same-sex couples kissing on the street because the number also increased by like 10% between these 2 years. And to know people's attitude toward LGBTI community, we also ask questions about what would you feel like if your colleague or if your representative or your mayor would be LGBTI plus. The one we see the lowest number during our first survey in 2020, it's people cannot accept their child to be LGBTIQ plus. And you can see in 2020, there are so slightly, there are only 79% of people they can accept their kids to be LGBTI. But the number increased each year, and till this year, we can see the number come to nearly 60%. So it was, as we believe that the law change also made the society different. So I want to introduce how the people's attitude changed the situation of or the life of LGBTI community. Because when we ask this kind of question, do you know any familiar friends or relatives who is LGBTI plus? You can see the answer say, yes, I do know this kind of my friend who is LGBTI. This number also increased in the past year. So what we noticed is that when the society become more open, then LGBTIQ community member were willing to openly talk about their private life to their colleagues, to their friends, not afraid to let someone else know, yes, I'm within this community. So in the closing, I want to show you the picture. It's a picture that our president, Taiwan's president, put on her social media. It's a picture she taken CNN interview. During that interview, the journalist asked her about why Taiwan or how Taiwan is the first country in Asia legalized same-sex marriage, and she answered that that's because the younger generation, the thing they believe, their value, motivate her and became her force. Then we can go further on these kind of topic. So in closing, I think I want to share that I think we're facing a new generation of Taiwan, and also being inclusive after legalized same-sex marriage, create a new Taiwan identity. That's my briefly introduction and sharing today. Looking for the following engaging discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Joyce. Thank you for sharing the long and inspiring history of struggle for gender equality in Taiwan. She has mentioned many figures and many histories of struggle for gender equality in Taiwan. And she states also the three reasons that same-sex marriage should be legalized in Taiwan, which is the active civil society and ambitious younger generations. The second one is Taiwan's democracy, and the third one is education on gender equality. And these three reasons leads to the good tendency toward the LGBTQI community acceptance in the Taiwanese society. Okay, and she hopes also that these good tendencies will create the new Taiwan identity. Okay, so let's hear from Thailand's side. So I want to ask Kun Tunyawaj, as the strong advocate of marriage equality bill, please share with us your experience on fighting and movements for gender equality and gender justice in Thailand.
Okay, we get back to 2012. If we saw the newspaper in that time, that we saw two men guys went to the district officer. So to marriage together, but the officer denied to do that because it's not allowing following civil commercial code in that time. I think that is a first step that our society talk about why LGBTQ cannot marry together. It's the first step, but you know, in that time, it's not social media, online, internet is not communicate much about LGBTQ, but we know that LGBTQ in that time, I think that we call grateuy or gay something, that we don't have a LGBTQ vocabulary in that time. But in that situation, when the election happened, I know that Kun Yingluck Shinawat from Pheu Thai in that time, she came up about civil partnership concept. And she gives the Rights and Protection Department in Ministry of Justice to do that and working for that. But you know, in our Thai politics, it's not always uncertain, right? So the coup happened in 2557, I'm sorry, 2014, I'm sorry. So the city partnership is under the Prayut when he get in the power in the military. So civil partnership is stated is like in Thai democracy, is freezing, and in the closet nobody knows because no member of parliament to check it, no voice of the people, no election. When I become the candidate of member of parliament in Future Forward Party, I see many offer. I see two offers in the NGO and community, which is civil partnership from NGO who work in the government side, which is in the Prayut Chan-o-cha, and on the other side who work advocacy for LGBTQ and try to make equality and fight on the street. I see some of NGO try to offer marriage equality bill into Ministry of Justice, but it seems like they not hear that. They not accept about marriage equality. For example, when I was elected, I went to some public hearing in civil commercial code, and then I go with NGO who support marriage equality and try to send the offer, send their voice to a ministry. But it turned down. The voice, it seems like, cannot not hear from the one who got the power. But you know, marriage equality is one of LGBTQ achievement in my party. I start with doing the bill, and I can say that that is not like, you know, just donning the bill and going announcement in the press and take a photo with the smile, something like that. It's not like that. It's a big tough time for me, 1.5 years, because I can say that there are politics in NGO. There are politics in the one who believe in religion. There are politics in the many layers in our society who work for LGBTQ community. It's struggle when I work it. Actually, marriage equality should be done 4 months before this, but it's late because someone tried to make it delay through the lobbyists, through the someone misunderstood my goal. But finally, I tried to push it forward and make it to the parliament. And so now I'm here and I try to know that I can say that Thailand, there are something we cannot see, and that there are something. You know what I mean? There are something we cannot see, but we know there are some politics. I can say that a big thrust from the religion, if people in our society feel and awareness more humanism, you know, so the people will not believe the angel, believe the heaven, and they will feel more humanism. So what will happen with the religion? So the religion, the people will pray less. So he will get paid less. He will get donation less. So it's a big, conflict between equality and religion. You remember when the equality happened in our society, it absolutely affects the beliefs, the religion. So I cannot say much, but it will affect to somebody. But sometimes I know that politics is not for the people, you know. In Thailand, when we have election, I have to say really, really congratulations to Taiwan that you can make it. I'm very congratulations, but you know, when the Constitutional Court in Thailand make a decision and they read the decision, and you know, we see how Thai education settle Thai people in our society. We set the Thai education settle the conservative side, settle the LGBT phobia in our thought. We see obviously in the Constitutional Court reading that they think that we are special species and we are not human and we should use a separate law. I said one answer to in the committee when I talk about the Constitutional Court reading decision, and then pop up hashtag Constitutional Court is LGBT phobia. I can say that how we can say when we do oral sex is against the religion because we don't use the vagina and what can I say about the technology for pregnant is against the religion or not? if we eat the pork, it's against the law, right? So I say to the committee that I'm not get hot. I'm not get feel desire or horny when I see the animal planet. You know, I still see porn. I feel get hot. I'm hot, not animal planet. So everybody in the committee keep quiet and look at me, right? We are human. If you are man or woman, you just not only do that act of God, put it in and out, in and out. Not only that, because we are all human. What do you mean, act of God? In, out, in, out, in, out. Is that all? It's not human. We are not a human with special species. We are all human, right? So I think that is a big threat. The next what will going up in the marriage equality. It's look like going well now, but I will answer you in the next question. But I can say that it's not. It's tough. It's difficult because Thai education and LGBT phobia thought is settled in our mind and absolutely in the parliament. Thank you.
Thank you คุณธัญวัฒน์นะครับคุณธัญวัฒน์ mentioned the long history also in Thailand about the fight for gender equality, which starts with an incident at the district office in 2012. So just 10 years ago that our society start to discuss about the gender equality and marriage equality. Yeah, but still Thailand differs from Taiwan in two aspects. Thailand doesn't have the strong democracy as in Taiwan, and yeah, still Thai education try to endorse the conservative way. So yeah, so yeah, and so the curriculum is not progressive as in Taiwan. Yeah, so this is why I think this is maybe the factor that gender equality and marriage equality in Thailand is not so advanced compared to in Taiwan. But yeah, still we have a hope to fight for and to struggle for gender equality. Okay, so I will move from the topic of social movements for gender equality to the how to say in real life experiences of Khun Nada. Khun Nada, as an intersex, please share us your experience of being an intersex in the binary division and heteronormative society.
Thank you so much, Nada, Chaiyajit. Well, a lot of information I prepare for like telling you the story about the movement as on the civil society organization movement. But as you know, it's such a good question to tackle as intersex individuals. Actually, whether conventional marriage ceremonies or whether in advance like in Taiwan or in many countries, right, around 31 countries at the global scale that marriage equality is real. However, like for intersex individuals, of course, when you think of like marriage as just like a contract establishment, right, two persons signed contract to as to affirm their rights to family establishment, that's another thing. But when it's come to marriage is not just a paper with two signature, but it's about the a cultural root as the one of the most traditional like societal unit, right? Grounded since we like we have human beings. This means that there are lots of like cultural beliefs, and it's also like social norm play their cultural role in like formulate and design who we should look like, who we should act. Especially one of the core values, as MP Tunyawaj just recently made it off, is to produce, like to keep reproductive, to keep reproductive, in and out, to keep reproductive, like to ensure that the generation will keep passing through the end of the end of the world. However, when it comes to intersex individuals, like we born with the diverse of like biological sex, characteristics. So, and we have been oppressed under like abnormality under the medical schemes. So in our life experience that we face a lot of like medical interventions and limitations regarding like health reproduction. First, they thought that, like being intersex, you don't have to worry about like getting married because you don't need to produce children's, because of your abnormal or unfunctional like sex characteristic wouldn't allow you to do so. That's one of the very conventional traditional explanation we received so far, as well as we cannot even enjoy our sexual pleasures. Don't think about in and out yet. Like if you look at for example, the sex toy market, they serve only like like someone, they say like normal, like people who born with like a normal genitalia, for example. So this kind of thing, like even like in the medical school, when they taught a lot about like sexual pleasure as a part of like well-being, sexual well-being, is always like intersex individual always been like been left out, because like there's no information enough for us to share like how we build sexual pleasures, how we can enjoy healthy reproductive as others. So that's what we have been oppressed for like for so long, and most of our time we've been pushed to fight for our like stop medical intervention, as well as we want to have the freedom to legalize or even to choose our own to remain in like intersex individualities, as well as if you want to choose or if you want to access to essential medical intervention, we should be granted that right. So far the overall idea about being intersex under this circumstance, especially marriage equality, is just like an ideal, like we need a lot more information in terms of like empowerment, but at least we can see how marriage qualities, whether marriage quality or partnership bill, what they're trying to achieve by including us as a part of key actors. But accordingly to our experiences, it's not deep enough. They're still talking about who has right to sign marriage certificate, instead of like how we as intersex individuals or people born with a diverse sex characteristics could enjoy this right as equal as they are, and don't talk about like surrogacy, for example, because when we still been, like struggling because the actual system, the medical system is not even ready to welcoming us yet. So that's how I would say as the first question related to the intersex individual experiences.
Okay, thank you, Kunada. Okay, so yeah, thank you for the great story and personal experiences that you have faced. That being an intersex in heteronormative society. Yeah, Kunada has told us that Kunada has been oppressed by social and sometimes conventional norms, and she thinks that our society has not enough explanation who is intersex, what is intersex, and how they like how they live, how they experience for sexual pleasure, etc. And so she thinks that we need a lot more of informative explanation and empowerment also, to make Thai society be more inclusive for intersex individuals. Okay, so I will start the round 2 question, and I will go back to Kun Joyce. Okay, Joyce, despite the legalization of marriage equality bill, there still are gender discrimination in Taiwan. So what do you think is or are the major obstacles in the movement for gender equality in Taiwan? And what do you expect to see in the future?
Thank you for your question, and thank you for your sharing. I think it's important because in Taiwan, actually, we're still facing some difficulty. Some of those I mentioned before, like unfinished marriage equality issues, but also like for the education. Even though we do have gender equality education after 2004. But during the past few years, like from 2011, we're facing anti-LGBT movement, like counter movement to ours, really, who push really hard. So like I just checked some news yesterday, like in 1 or 2 years before, one of the main key campaigner from anti-LGBT movement, who became the one of the headquarters of education in local government. So when she got promoted and being put on that position, activists try to protest for that, but as we can see, she's still the head of educational department in local government. So I think that's the obstacle we're still facing, but but as I said, I believe that Taiwan's civil society will bring us to a more open place or future. That's the thing I see, because I think facing the different situation now, especially the situation with China, our younger generation are more and more willingly to participate in politics, public affairs. I think that's a good sign for us. But referring to democracy, actually, I think for Taiwanese, we're luckily enough, because I know that there are democracy movement in Thailand recently, but I think for Taiwan, it was like a few decades ago, and lots of our pioneer fight for fully democracy and freedom for us. That's why we came to here, and we're lucky to have that now. But it's not because of martial law, because of the previous government. It's not like original in here. We fought for our pioneer fought for that for us. So I'm really looking forward to see if we can have more experience communication in the future, because I can see a lot of younger generation in Thailand also fought for their freedom, fought for their the future they want. I think that's a good sign, and maybe in the future we can work together.
Okay, thank you, Kun Joyce. She told about the the obstacles, despite the legalization of marriage equality bill in Taiwan, but there are still some resistance from many parties. But she is a little bit optimistic because she thinks that there are more and more tendency to the acceptance to LGBT community in Taiwan, especially among the younger generations. And she looks forward to the communications between younger generations across the countries. For example, like between Thai younger generations and Taiwanese younger generations also. Yeah, and she thinks this can be the one key the crucial element to the more accurate and inclusive understanding toward LGBTQI plus community. Okay. And okay, so I will pass to Kun Tunyawaj. What do you think is the future of same-sex marriage bill in Thailand? What should it be, and what could it be?
Before I answer that, I want to share something first.
Yes.
Okay. Before this, talk about the reproductive. It doesn't mean I don't believe the reproductive. It doesn't mean I do not respect about the reproductive. Is important in our society, in our, of course. But if you think in the natural way, if we live in the natural, LGBTQ is natural also. We are scientists. We are natural. We born this way, like Lady Gaga said. And if you think about if every time you in and out and you get shy, it's a big problem in our world too. I think that LGBTQ community, LGBTQ all around the world, is a balance with the man and the woman to make the world living today. So I'm going to share this. Okay, so I'm going to answer your question. What next? Okay, ก้าวไกล next, do you know? อาจารย์งงนิดนึงอุตส่าห์พูดภาษาไทย Okay, what next? I'm gonna tell you that when the marriage equality and civil partnership passed in the first reading, and right now is on the process in the committee, and the duty in committee, we have to done well both bill and get back return into the parliament for the second reading and third final vote for member of parliament. So I planned it and set up about we're gonna finish 2 bills at the end of next month. The end of next month, and we're gonna try to make it come back to in the parliament at the end of this year. And you will ask me that, okay, the next election is coming soon. If you not if you absent in the parliament, what you gonna do? We try to finish the member of parliament or the process. So the next step we go that it will be 2 bill. It will go to the senator. It's a one process. After that, so it passed. That's all. What next? But the big threat, because I cannot say the committee is going well. Yeah, I tell to you. But some of member of parliament still don't understand. And some of member of parliament, not some, okay, I'm sorry, one. One in committee still don't understand and try to speak something like, I can say that it's phobia. So I forgive him. Sometimes I'm looking stand up and make some shout like, you know, Kik Suwachani. Do you know Kik Suwachani? Chut na, something like that. Stop it. But I think it's a big threat because, as you know, the cabinet firstly want to turn the marriage equality down. But right now, I believe that all the member of parliament as a politician, if you do it for the people, nothing can say, nothing can do. You just vote it past 2 bill. It's for the people. But if they think about the politics, don't think about the people, they will vote marriage equality down. But I pop up my question in every day that why they will turn it down, because it's a big threat and a big frost, many frosts for them too, because the next election is coming up. If they vote marriage equality turned out, it will impact in their party too. I think they have to think much about that. So it's all the process in the parliament, and I think that in the middle of next year, we will know that marriage equality will happen or not. But you know, in Thailand, like I said to you, there are something that we didn't see, but we know there are something. Yeah, yes. I pray for myself. Okay, I pray, but the election will show that what people think, and we have to live in our society with hope. You know, Move Forward Party is hope. We do not have a big money to do a big campaign. We do not have money to pay for someone who helped in election. We don't have money to do something like that, but we have hope. I think hope is important for me too. In that day when the cabinet wanted to turn the marriage equality down, I woke up and okay, everything is seem darkness for me, but I see the light of hope. I drove the car and opened fortune cookie, music, and try to build it up and make myself smile. And I said to the press that just make the people faith our duty, faith from their election, faith to the parliament system. I would like to thank you so much for the MP who stand opposite with my party and vote. And some of them absent the parliament to help me and make marriage equality pass. In individual, I talk many to MP. Of course, I talk to senator too. I start to talk to senator too. In the individual, they understand what marriage equality is. But like I said to you, that there are something that we didn't see, but there are some things. So the power, the big power is not yet belong to our people, but keep it. Election, we're gonna change, and use your voice with hope. Don't use your voice for money. The hope cannot sell. The hope cannot make you money, but the hope can change. Remember. So next is hope. Next is keep going. Next is we do not give up. And next we're gonna go together. Thank you.
Thank you for คุณธัญวัฒน์ very inspiring inspiring speech. Yeah, I can say. Okay, so Kun Tunyawaj states that at the moment we have passed the first reading. The bill is passed at the first reading in the House of Representatives, and the second readings will be expected to occur on the end of next month, which is September, right? Okay, and yeah, and by the end of this year, the process will go through the senator, and yeah, she told us also about the some obstacles that we are facing, because as she has said, there are some of one committee, one committee in the House of Representatives that still don't understand our principle. And yes, there is some hidden invisible power that tries to disrupt our intentions. So in the middle of next year, 2023, we will know whether marriage equality bills will be passed or not. So in brief, the future of gender and marriage equality in Thailand is still uncertain, but hope is very important. And Kun Tunyawaj encourages us to speak out, to make a continuous fight with hope. Yeah, and we will see what is going to happen in the future. Okay, and the last question with Kun Nada. I want to ask you that as an intersex activist, what have you faced in the current major movement for gender equality, especially for intersex movement? And what do you suggest for the future?
Well, as the terms of the seminar today are in line with the marriage equality, I would like to also jump into that because I believe in a part of the civil society organizations. I contribute quite a lot into like make sure that things happen, make sure that Kun Tunyawaj is not working alone, and actually she proves that we need more people like us in the parliaments. We need to serve more, we need to voice out more. The reason I joined also my Thai Sang Thai party because I believe that we cannot let our friends working alone, but because of the invisible power is too strong. it's like a so but as it is individual, what I can bring or I can identify the major challenge is we are not have the same equal power even among among LGBTIQA and plus individual, but how we could harmonize together. This is not the only one person fight. It's not a hero, American hero styles, someone have enough power and saving the world. No, it's the public interest issues, as intersex individuals or within even like as a group of intersex in Thailand, which is very invisible, less power, not like extreme power. I would say we need to pull resources, I remember when the right to family establishment movement happening in Thailand, when like a person, a very legendary, like living legendary person, his name is Kenati, like he went to the Chiang Mai districts and signs asked for resignation for marriage, but he got rejected, and this is his campaign. And then that's why he submit complaint within the parliamentarian committee. That's why it started from there. And it's allowed me to see how the movements grow, as well as the global movement as well, growing together with us. That's how I met Joyce and others, like global players. Once I was joining the Freedom to Marry Global, it's like a global campaign. And it's not only like in America, United States, it's about Japan, it's about Australia, as well as Taiwan. What we learn is not about how we fight, like to win the opposition. That's not our job, you know. There is actually Kun Tunyawaj already proved us that his lobbying, you know, like convincing other party, even like the cabinet parties, to vote for, seeking the individual's capacity to vote yes for marriage equality to pass the first reading is a good example. And we need to keep moving forward on that. We need to build power. We need to build coalition. You know, without coalition, it's difficult for us to win. We are, you know, like weaponless. You know, we have only hands, bare hands. We fight with bare hands. Good heart, but smart. You know, that's how we win. As in this intersex individuals, you know, like who fought hard to survive in this society because no one want to hear what I am. I have to think and create any like different statement to tell individuals or society or like social institution about what is intersex means. You know, I think those knowledge I can transform into a lesson learned. You know, and that's why as I joined Manushya Foundation also as the Human Rights Campaign advisor because I believe in human rights based approach. It's go back to us no matter what. The most important is about your dignity. You know, like how we can harmonize our individual dignity and sharing with them, whether at the basic, the traditional universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 16, right? That state about right to marriage is belong to everyone. In the same time, we need to think of what solution the other countries, you know, give us as a lesson learned, a milestone. We can compile together and then we put in their bare hands and think of what the obligations our government has so far. For example, soon Thailand has to, you know, like report the for the CEDAW review. You know, CEDAW is the convention on elimination of form of women discriminations. And with those record, you know, the CEDAW already, you know, like released the general explanation, which call general comments, said that all the rights, you know, state under UDHR and under the each sections of the convention already imply with, you know, like LGBTIQ in general. So with those opportunities, we could do something more to hold government accountable. We also have recently the UPR, you know, people might say, oh, UPR is useless, but for me, no. Yeah, my role as an individual activist, you know, like changing or transform Thailand to be a better place for gender equality where people live with dignity. It's like we are trying to paint rainbow color throughout the Golden Gate Bridge, you know, but I can by my personal capacity. He can by his personal capacity because he like a few people who outstanding present themselves as like our LGBT MP. But what we can do, you know, like we chain knots, we untie and tie the new knots, you know, and we start painting something, which I believe that when we're gonna see how we have accomplished so far. We don't forget that. Please check back to what you have done. You know, like I've seen so many like familiar like face of people I know, like journalists, you know, like academic, who in every single minutes in their life livelihood they try to contribute something. Please count on that too, you know, and put together for Kun Tunyawaj to know that, you know, like Kun Tunyawaj is not alone. It's not fighting alone. We're here, you know, and even I, on behalf of my like member of Thai Sang Thai Party, you know, very like we have no MP in the parliament yet, but outside we voice out so hard. We show our like partnership, we show our solidarity to ensure that we could hold government accountable, you know, because marriage equality is for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Nada, for explaining us the situations of intersex people now. She told us that intersex people has less power and social recognition in Thailand, even within the LGBTQIA+ community. So so Kunada recommends us to mobilize resource as much as possible. For example, to create coalition, conventions, etc., or some meetings like this. Kunada wants more correct and inclusive understanding for intersex people to make the big change. Yes, and she thinks that the most important principle for human is harmony and human dignity. How we can make a harmony, how can we harmonize people? Okay, in the society, there are lots of differences on genders, on nationalities, etc. But how can we construct the inclusive and harmonious society? This is what we have to find the answer and do it with hope. Because our goal is to live in the world with dignity. Okay, so sorry, we finished the second part of our talk today, and I will jump to the third part, which is the Q&A part. Okay, so if there is any questions, either on how to say on-site participants and online participants also, I encourage you to ask because this is the good opportunity to exchange.
Hi, hello. I'll just stand here. Hi. Hi, hi Joyce. My name is Verita, and I'm actually a friend. Well, I'm one of the familiar faces here. I'm from the Faculty of Arts, Chula. And first of all, thank you very much, political science students and also guest speakers here for contributing to our fight for gender justice and gender equality in Thailand. My question is for you, Joyce, because it's such a rare opportunity to have you here with us. First of all, there might be about 2 or 3 questions. I'll try to lump them together. I think first is Kun Tunyawaj mentioned the Constitutional Court ruling here in Thailand, which for me, as a feminist activist and also an LGBT activist academic, I feel that if we look at the wording of the constitutional ruling, it is so full of misogynist discourses. And I think that there is this very close connection and relationship between misogyny and anti-LGBT discourse, because what the Constitutional Court ruling is saying is that, well, the important part of misogyny is that it seeks out to reward and reward women that are deemed acceptable according to social mainstream values, and also punish women who do not conform to the social mainstream values, when it comes to reproductive or bodily rights. And that's the reason why LGBTQIA+ persons are portrayed as less than humans. Do you see a similar thing in Taiwan as a feminist activist? Is there a close connection between misogyny and anti-LGBT discourse in Taiwan? That's the first question. The second question would be, what will be your advice for us fighting for gender equality? I know that nothing is perfect. I know that in Taiwan, even though you have made it to a certain extent, Taiwanese cannot marry foreigners from countries that do not enjoy same-sex marriage legality, like places that legalize same-sex marriage. So it's about, I think, 30 countries, if I'm not mistaken. What are the steps that you have taken to achieve or to enhance the bandwidth of gender equality in Taiwan? And what are your advice? What will be your advice for us? I think that's all. Thank you very much.
you for Vanessa, right? Your question. And actually, I want to say that I don't have specific advice because I think we're all like co-workers as campaigner, activists, regionally, globally, because we're all like feminist, LGBT activists. And so I think like the other panelists just said, marriage for all is one concept that we all shared, and we also discussed it within the past few years together. And for the first question, yes, of course, we do see the similar situation in Taiwan, like even in the interpretation number 748, we do have some dissenting opinions was released after the interpretation. So several grand judges, they do, as I remember, two of them do have different opinion. Like we do have our traditional marriage values, so we should not break it that. And of course, for the past few years, we see similar like cases, even interpretation that privilege men and or guarantee the privilege of men or guarantee some. We do have some similar cases interpretation, but I think what we do now in Taiwan, we try to advocate for the training for judges within the judicial system. So I think the training, more they can accept this kind of value, and some of them see themselves as they should stand with people's right. So once they take the place of just, and after they've been trained, training, gender equality training, I think that can do some help. That's what I saw since I was working in the parliament as an assistant and now as an activist. So I think maybe in the future we can figure out or exchange our experience together, because like previously the other mentioned about CEDAW review. Actually this year in Taiwan, we also are accepting CEDAW review because we're not member of UN, but we can also, our parliaments sign and pass the internal regulation that Taiwan government need to obey the idea of CEDAW, and our government need to like have the national report on how they implement CEDAW during their work. So we will invite expertise from international society to come to Taiwan to have this kind of a review. So we're not officially UPR, but we do have the similar review in Taiwan. And I think that's also a chance for our movement community to bring those topics back to the talk, back to the discussion with our government. Can you do better? Can you improve something even furthermore? I think that's our experience, and also things we're doing that right now. And I can see that actually in different part of the world we're doing the same. So I'm looking forward that I'm not that sad about the future. So maybe we can communicate more in the following few years and then figure out our way together.
I would like to share something shortly. I can say that Constitutional Court nominated by Senator and Prayut Chan-o-cha and King and full stop. And if we talk about we're gonna change some of constitutional, it will be held because Constitutional Court is like a mechanism in politics to sue someone, to stop someone, to stop something. And we all know. So I think that we have to fix it in the constitutional. Yes.
So any questions? Any further questions? Yes. You can come here if you want. If you want to communicate with Kun Joyce.
Oh, okay. And also
ต้องโชว์หน้านิดนึงค่ะ
okay,
ต้องหมุนตัวก่อนหนึ่งที
thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so thank you so much first for like the discussion today. I think it's very, very intriguing, and like I think we learned so much from each other as well, like Thailand and Taiwan and the progress that we're moving on towards at the moment. I'm particularly like I'm now working in a human rights organization, and I'm also an activist on the ground working with youth movements, promoting like gender equality. So I'm very much like interested in the power of youth at the moment when Joyce was saying about the dynamics of the protest and how youth power feeds in so much with the movements nowadays that it goes towards changes in the law itself. And I wonder like I have questions maybe for Kunada and Krutan for like you are in like the parliament, and we know that seniority is also another thing in Thailand. Is like very, very heavily like promoted, and I'm just curious how the picture of youth movements now in Thailand kind of feeds into the conversations in the parliament at the moment, and how do not even the member of parliaments, but maybe the cabinet or the governments themselves, how do they receive it? And do you think like moving forwards in the future, I think it can only increase and increase, right? Right, the dynamics of the youth, and how do you see like the futures like moving forward from this point towards the point where we realize marriage equality or other LGBTQI promoted laws? How do we see these youth movements like have an effect or an impact in changes in any laws, like in like policy or maybe practices in the future? So that would be my questions. Thank you.
So
แต่ถามว่าคุณน้องถ่ายรูปแล้วพี่จะได้รูปด้วยหรือเปล่า
จริงแล้วเดี๋ยวจะมีการแชร์รูปภาพในโซเชียลมีเดียของทางสโมสรนิสิตนะครับผมเดี๋ยวจะแจ้งให้ทราบในภายหลังครับ
I would represent, I would like to share my statement towards, like on behalf of the organization who promote human rights, and we contribute a lot. Actually, we invest a lot because we in youth movement a lot. It's not because you are the future, but for us, you are today. You are today, you are the presence, and that's why your voice is so important. Like sometimes I feel like, am I covered? Like how long I have been waiting to see this movement, like this year I'm turning 43 years old. I'm not young at all. I'm not young anymore. I'm the last year of the Gen X generation. So in my the way I grew up in the society in that time, like seniority still play very crucial roles. Like you are not allowed to give permission to talk in order to share your opinions. You are expected to memorize everything that the like authoritarians would like you to believe, and I adore you and you are inspired us, whether like as civil society organization or even as the person who just jumped into the like as politicians. And on behalf of politicians I would say I'm still young, I'm considered as a young generation. I understand how you feel, because when I enter into even like the party who are already all very well open, but seniority play very crucial roles, because seniority is not only come with an age, seniority come with an expectance about your working experiences, how long you have been experiences, in terms of, for example, tackle discriminations, ending poverty, promoting economic development, like that kind of thing, also involved with seniority. That's why it leaves no space for like younger generation to voice out. And I'm so proud because I'm so proud of the movement right now. We can even talk to some issue that we never ever before, we still like free from jail for the moment, but at least we know somebody trying to speak out, and like it create the environment where we can like productive criticisms can be achieved, like just to ensure that those who serve in power, understand that their time will be gone very soon. Like each day they get aging and aging, they're gonna die. Like that's why it's an inevitable moment. So I believe that if I were able, from my last statement, if I were able to, like be able to work as an MP in the future, etc. But one thing I was sure that I agree with MP Tunyawaj, that we need people constitutions. We need to reform. We need to reduce in every like limit, like limited principle. For example, the age to engage and in politics. If you have the right to vote when you turn 18, it means you have right to be member of parliament, and you have right to be even like ministry at serve ministry at the level of when you turn 25. Like if you prove that you have capacity, to fight for public interest for all people. That's one thing that I can promise in my personal capacity, and will bring back this statement to discuss with my party as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nada. Okay, and there are other two questions from the online participants. The first is that, okay, I think this participant want to ask you too. Is marriage equality issue in Thailand facing a generation gap? Such as young people support more, whereas elderly more against it. And the second question is that how to make elderly people understand the importance and meaningfulness of marriage equality. Could we have your suggestion?
First question first.
Okay. ได้ครับได้
Generation gap. I worked for 3 years. I think about this. I don't want to say a general gap, because it might be think about that the one who older and they think wrong, but it's not always that. But I think that we have to think about the security and the rights. It's always come together. If I ask you that, how can I say, before this, I'm talking about the reproductive, right? If I'm asking you that, why we talk about the rights, when we talk about the rights, and the other hand, the patriarchy and the beliefs has rights, has believed to have a child a year for 4 person, for 4 child. What will gonna happen next in 10 years? When the extreme Muslim has got a chance to have a 4 baby in a year, and Taliban, they catch a woman and they ready to reproductive, 4 women per 1 year. What we're gonna do next? If the extreme Muslim come into our society, and in 10 years, the extreme Muslim will have more than liberal people, what we gonna do next? If you talk about the gap of age, I think that we talk about the rights and security. The new generations talk about rights that we hold, and we think that our society we should be in what way. But I think if we stand in the democracy 100%, and we talk about the security in the in the liberal way, security is important. We have to think a circle is I think that is not a gap, but I think that is a be careful. And I think that we can share what will be careful in the next future. The second question คืออะไรนะคะ
The second question นะครับ how to make elderly people understand the importance and meaningfulness of marriage equality.
I think that is important because it's a human right, it's a fundamental in our society. The society family fundamental is very important because it's established our country. We start our lives in our family. Our parents take care of us and teach us well. Like Whitney Houston's song, do you remember Greatest Love of All? I believe the children are our future. And it starts from our family. So family is important. Why we talk about the marriage equality? Because all the people in the world has 100% rights to make their family 100% and go, 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 go. Yay, 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 yay. Fight. Thank you.
As the campaigner also, I would say that I have been reviewing a lot of good example, good practices when the country, like civil society organizations, even like member of parliament in many countries, when what they try to accomplish, because of course in every country they have conservative group of people fought against marriage equality, to preserve the meaningful conventional family value. So what they do, instead of focusing on why people like us need marriage qualities, how it affects us, because generally it's keep producing day by day throughout media agency, online platform, even like personal testimonies. But one thing I see that they invest in public communication, in like private advertisement, I've seen a lot of like very good example. For example, one thing I would like to share, in the UK, they run campaign that they run campaign, very beautiful one, like a gay person knock each household door asking for permission. Can I get married with a person named? So people thought, oh, maybe a kind of cute, like family welcoming, but actually no. And he moved to the next house and to the next house, and then they share the numbers of household in the UK. So how much the doors he has to knock to get permission. And this is to call for like people to come to vote for referendum. You see, and then when the people who open the door are like the elderly or the middle-aged people, to see this is important. Our livelihood, our life determinations is depend not only by us, but because marriage equality is a public interest, you know, as well as what I've seen, what Taiwanese so civil society organization did also. Joy, I think you are the better person to explain this, but you see, I see they cover the voice of like older generations. Even in Vietnam, they run campaign. How our mothers, you know, or grandparents, you know, feel so good, what the concerns, you know, because they speak the same language. When we speak with the elderly people, they want to hear because they want to preserve something valuable. But what about when elderly speak directly to elderly group of people? Why they are open? What make them change their mind? What make them, you know, lowering their guard and promote like the freedom to get married? You know, that's kind of thing we have to think about. This is we have seen that harmonization works. For example, the pride, the first ever community pride, real pride happening in Thailand, turn back to Pride Month, is effectively push the agenda for the first reading to pass. We have seen that. Now it's time for us to think of what is the next impact, you know, like impact social movement through media in every channel. Of course, we need to prepare for the hostile, you know, like we will have like religious a group of people, you know, like maybe gathering together and fight back also. But this is the good opportunity to bring more voices from different and diverse generations.
I answer more a little bit. Why we talk about marriage equality? Because we not just only do in and out. We hold each other. We look in the eyes each other. And we love each other. And we want to build our family each other. We want to proud our family. And we want to take care of somebody. And we need to make family for themselves, for ourselves, and for the country. Thank you. วันเด็กๆชอบดูนางงามไง
Hi,
I'm sorry.
echo the thing Nana said. Like older people, you need to they trust their own relatives. So if you do have elders in your family, please talk to them, because it's not going to happen when you talk to someone on the street. He or she, the elder, will believe in you. But if you're within the family, they're your grandma, grandfather, they will believe in you, or at least they love you, and you can use, if you love me enough, you should support this. And that's why we heard for our life, you know, our parents will say, you have to do this for me. And it's now the time you should talk to your parents. If you love me enough, you should support this for me. And also another thing I want to share is that it's really important that if you choose some speakers on the screen, and you can choose someone, if the message is going to convince the elders, the speaker must be within their community. So the elders or the grandmothers on the screen saying why she support her grandchild to have to marry to same-sex person. That's also an important message, because it's shared by themselves. It's not a story told by us, it's a story told by them. So I want to echo Nada about this.
Thank you, Kun Joyce. Okay, and there is another question from one participant, online participant. Okay, so I let Kun Akanit to ask the question.
Thank you for your inspired talk. I have two questions. My first question is for Kutan and Kunada, and it's about the senators. So my question is that how are Move Forward Party and the Thai Sang Thai Party going to strategize and deal with the senators after the third reading? Because I think all of us can learn from the experiences from the anti-torture and enforced disappearances bill that most of the rights protections or progressive drafts tend to be watered down under the senators. So how are your parties going to strategize and deal with that in the next step? And my second question is for everyone. It's about solidarity. So do you see the prospect of how Thai and Taiwanese activists, actually not only activists, but also MPs can collaborate and work together on this issue, and how what is the position of Move Forward and Thai Sang Thai Party to support this kind of transnational collaboration between Thai and Taiwanese MPs and activists? Thank you so much.
Okay, Ka. About senator, I have to tell the truth that I'm working on that really. And I have a chance to talk about some of senator who I work with in the some committee before. And I have a chance to talk about what is marriage equality is and civil partnership is and how different of it. And that individual, I think that I'm not think, I know that senator understand, really, they understand it's a human right, it's a fundamental of our society, family. And they done against, but they have some power. There are something that we didn't see, that we know there are something there. So they just say yes, but not 100% yes. But deep inside of me, I know that they has got they feel sympathy about this. I know that, and I hope that if the senator think about this, we talk to many movements. If we talk about this, if senator vote for marriage equality, it will turn senator the new image. It will turn to the new senator that has got a vision and forward in our country. We make to think positive that if you do vote for us, the people will see you change. If I'm think about if I'm senator, what they think, I always think about that. If I'm senator, what I think. I'm a rich man. I have 100 million already. We happen in our life, in my life. What I have to sit in this position and listen people say bad word for me. They think they sacrifice for the country. That's what they think. You know what I mean? If you transfer from your side, why have to position and the people yelling at me that you are bad, you are a bad guy, you don't listen people. Why they have to listen that position? They think that they sacrifice. If you know that, we have to talk like understand senator and think about it's over. It's gonna change your image and you do for the people, and people will love you, and it's make any frost less. Thank you.
That's fine. Yes, I like that. um, on behalf of Thai Sang Thai Party, I would say we believe in parliamentarian systems, but we also recognize that the current constitutions are not preserve democracy as we wish to be. And we've been trying hard, even submit over 700,000 petitions to reform the constitution. We try to make sure that senators do their job to serve people, not the invisible power as we all recognize. But because we believe in parliamentarian systems and we believe in checks and balance, so I would submit the letter for discussions with the board. And I believe that, like even Lady Sudarat Keyurapan will also agree to submit the letters toward directly to the senators, because they have, by their protocol, they have to also establish their own committees. So that is the channel that we would like to do, explaining the reason why you need to working hard on that. At least that your term is, like passings, and then this is the your term are very special, because when it's gone, it's over. So I agree with Kun Tunyawaj MP that it's time for you to redo something meaningful, but don't expect too much. When we submit the letter, it's just it will be in the record that we can use during our general election to name them, but not shaming them, to name them, to name the milestone. This is the color that you paint for us. It's tragedy colors, and if you want to do something better, you have the power in your hands. That's what we can do so far. We all know that it's hopeless, but we still need to kick off something, as the power we have as a party, and we don't have our member of parliament yet until the next election that we hope so. And for the second questions, how transnational between Thailand and Taiwan. And absolutely, because in each party, I believe that there are foreign affairs unit, and to think of the possibility to elaborate our work together, learning from each other is always bring fruitful outcome, and even we are, working with Taiwan it's very challenging for each party, because it depends on their political will to see, especially One China policy is very important, and many people or many parties may be thinking about what position they should take, it's very diplomatic issues but we promised one thing, that we will do our best to ensure that we will see Taiwan, we will work with Taiwan, and we will corroborate our partnership. That's what we can ensure about that.
A little story. When some MP do not vote for marriage equality in the first reading, what is their problems? In their family, the daughter and son don't talk to his father. Yeah. I hope that all the MP should know that it's about family. Yes, thank you. ถ้าใครมีพ่อเป็นนักการเมืองนะคะหนูจำไว้หนูช่วยครูได้ and I worked with Taiwan before, and in China Doll, I don't know that you know them, China Doll, the artists from Thailand and Taiwan together. Yes, I have been in Taiwan before. Love to work with you again.
Okay, do Kun Joyce have any answer to our second questions on the transnational connection between Thailand and Taiwan on this topic?
Okay, thank you. Actually, I think for the solidarity CSOs, civil society organizations already working together. Like Nada just said, we in the past few years, since the end of 2018, I think, we've been to Bangkok for the regional meeting and discussed about the different strategy within our country, but also discuss the future we can work together. So as I believe, because during this year we still have online calls under the pandemic, we still have online calls to discuss further like next step in Japan. We know that Japan already have some winning and lost in the court, different courts, and we tried very hard to communicate and keep helping each other with civil society. But I also agree, Nada was said, because of the political situation, international, working with MPs from Thailand, working with MPs in Taiwan. I think it's difficult, but I think it's more and more important in the future, especially when, you know, some of our international friends are always concerned about safety recently. But actually, I want to say in Taiwan, we feel safe still having our daily life till now. But yes, we do need help. We do need friends. So I think if there's any possibility that if we can go to Bangkok very soon, and maybe we can work together and to make some connection between Taiwan's politician and politician from Thailand. Looking forward to see you soon.
Looking forward to see you too.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Joyce. Okay, so today I'm very honored to participate
But
in.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
disturbed. I think that after we're done, we should share our Facebook together and
Yes,
add
of course,
together.
of course.
Yes, you might contact with.
Okay. So
Sorry, your turn.
no problem. Okay, I'm honored to participate in the discussion between three guests about marriage equality as well as gender equality in Thailand and Taiwan. As I mentioned at the first part of the talk, despite the difference in context in actors, our story of struggle for marriage equality is quite alike. So today's talk let us know how hard we have got through and how hard we will go through in the pursuit of marriage equality. And the discussion also provides us, the model, the lessons that can be learned from, the motivation for struggle and the hope to collaborate together, either among individuals or among nations for gender equality. So I want to thank all three guests and all participants, both on site and online today, for participating in our meaningful and inspiring discussion. Okay, so marriage equality is just the first step to gender equality, but there are also many other preconditions of gendered equal society that we have to fight for. So I think hope, ambition, and pragmatism are the crucial keys to our achievement. Okay, so before we end the talk, as this talk is organized by the collaboration between many parties, including 3 ย่าน Press or สำนักพิมพ์นิสิต 3 ย่าน I want to promote the press products. There are 2 products sold right there at the registration desk. The first is the book on the history of Taiwanese nation, and Okay, and the second book is on the history of our faculty, the faculty of political science at Chulalongkorn University, but narrated by the, how to say, former worker, our beloved former worker of this faculty. She's named Patiu. Yeah, so if you are interested in those products, you can buy it right there. Okay, and lastly, I want to exchange the contacts. Firstly, for contacts of Samyan Press, you can search in the Instagram Samyan Press, SAMYAN and Press, PRESS. And also, yeah, as this event is hosted by how to say, Political Science Student Union of Chulalongkorn University. There is also the union's Instagram also, Samo Posai CU. I think it might be on the screen, right? I think it is it is small, but okay. Small Posai CU, SMOPOLSCI and CU. Okay. Okay, so do you want to exchange the contacts with each other? Okay.
My Facebook is really like easily to search for, like Nada Chaiyajit, CHAIYAJIT. Yeah, or you can follow our organizations as an advisor from Manushya Foundation. We have an also IG and Facebook and Twitter. Manushya, and it's easily to find. And for Thai Sang Thai Party, it's you can type in Thai Pak Thai Sang Thai, or you can follow our leaders Kun Ying Sudarat Geyurapan in every channel, so it's very easily to find as well. Thank you.
So my Facebook is Tunyawaj Kamolwongwat, TUNYAWAJ, and surname is Kamolwongwat, KAMOLWONGWAT. Kamolwongwat. You can search. It's also is my page. Spell the same thing. You can add my personal Facebook. Please follow my page too, because is many things update about gender equality. And you can follow my party, Move Forward Party. You can type that and you will see page. I think that you already follow, but do not forget to follow my page. And my Twitter is Krutan, KRU. I will follow. I will make it slow because, wait a minute, I forgot. I'm sorry. KRU and underscore TUN, Krutan. KRUTUN, Krutan. You will see my selling t-shirt, and it's quite fascinating. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. You can follow my TikTok also. And you what MFP? Yeah, you see many unseen, really. I'm talking about the group with some hosts, and then they afraid, and then I said to them that, oh, you get paid, so you're afraid to say that.
Okay,
Okay,
and
so
please trace equality.tw online, and you can search us on Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. So you can see. Oh, sorry. You can see all those videos we've done during the campaign. So hope seeing you in Taipei soon, or seeing you in Bangkok soon. equalab.tw.
Okay. Could you repeat the spelling of your Facebook?
EQUALLOVE.
Equal Love. Okay.
equalab.tw.
Okay, E colon TW. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for the context of Kun Tunyawaj and Kun Nada, you can check the spelling on the poster of our talk today. There is the name, the full name. Okay, so okay, I will how to say I will end our talk today. So thank you very much. Thank you, three guests, and thank you all the attendees in both online and on-site. Thank you very much.